Welcome, LOGs! You have come to a versus match. In this corner, we have the mad scientist obsessed with immortality, creator of mini robots, and knower that the fact that he's always right, it's Dbotnik! D-B-O-T-N-I-K, it's what other people say. D-B-O-T-N-I-K, tell us why we're here today. What a wonderful intro. And in this corner, we have the embodiment of depression, the man with the wings himself, the one who owns the channel, the Requiem's Dawn!
Sup?
Knew that was going to be that different. Okay, so, like I said, people, we came to a little bit of a philosophical / ideological disagreement, like we often do anyway, about this particular subject. Well, obviously, I'll also state that this came from the fact that we watched the new Kingdom Hearts trailer. Woo! So I'm excited about that. He's excited about that in his own way.
Yes, totally.
The biggest thing just comes down to we disagree on whether or not the franchise should continue, and also whether or not franchises like that, or any, should exist that long to begin with. So would you like to start on your points?
Sure. To be honest, in a way, I feel like Kingdom Hearts has definitely been around for a very long time, and it's had so many games, and I know for a fact Square is really bad at running series, and they tend to shit themselves inside out. I think we should probably just lay it to rest.
Though I do agree that, Square Enix and the like have had, not the best track record and stuff, I think the story still has plenty of places to go. Especially because of the fact that it took 20 years to finish one story. Yes, I can see where people think Kingdom Hearts is convoluted. I've also seen a lot of people give bad explanations for the franchise's order. Literally, if you play release order, it's fine. If you change one or two things, you might get a better experience. But both me and Jamie pretty much play them as they came out, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and we know the lore pretty solidly, right?
Yeah, I'm missing one or two pieces because I didn't really do Recoded or Union.
Right, which you can just watch Union and watch Recoded, and you'll both... The moral of Recoded is Kingdom Hearts again, but different. Did you ever think about existentialism?
I do, constantly. To be honest, I wouldn't have minded if Kingdom Hearts had taken a lot more of a Final Fantasy approach, where it went through a lot of the same story beats, but we saw it through, different people over generations or something. Or, different worlds / timelines. I feel like we've just followed Sora for such a long-ass fucking time. And we don't need to anymore.
I could see how... Okay, so definitely I'm on the bandwagon that, I could stand to see more characters be the front of Kingdom Hearts. Sora is not the only person these stories can be told through. But also you do have to acknowledge that each of them are so different in their own way, and a lot of them also do have changed who the protagonist is. There's no... It's Data Sora, obviously, in Recoded. Union isn't Sora. He's not even in the game. Donald and Goofy haven't met him yet. Birth by Sleep, 358, the beginning of KH2.
But notice how he's still kind of in, all of them? Except for Union.
Not really.
No, he's still, a part of them. And it's still the same main cast for a lot of this saga. For example, I am going to bring up Final Fantasy a lot because I'm a Final Fantasy nerd. But let's say you go from Final Fantasy 1 to Final Fantasy 2. It's Warrior of Light, and then Final Fantasy 2 is Firion and Leon, all these other... Not Squall. There was actually a character in Final Fantasy 2. His name was legit Leon.
That is confusing, the Kingdom Hearts... God, if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, you try to get into... FF, and you don't... Leon's the most confusing part.
There's no real explanation why the fuck his name changed either. But and then you go to Final Fantasy 3, and all of a sudden it's, different people. You got Lunith, Ark, these guys, and their story, but you go KH Birth by Sleep to 1, it's... I mean, yeah, Terra Aqua Adventures are gone now, but hey look, it's the kids that we saw on the island. Oh hey look, the Disney characters are still there.
Okay, so if I actually followed the path, let me just think about it real quick, and you can fill in any of them I'm not thinking of. Okay, so KH1, Sora. KH2, Roxas to Sora. Birth by Sleep, Sora. Sorry, no, Chain of Memories, Sora, I skipped. Next game, that's Recoded, 358, you're at Roxas, so you got 3 Soras, technically speaking. Birth by Sleep doesn't have playable Sora, but he is in it as a child, and that's the kind of the point. No, I guess to set the course, like, I feel like half the series does give that, but it's not enough of, like, a departure that you, like, notice it as much as, Final Fantasy, where you're practically in whole other worlds.
Yeah, it's more like I want to not have the same main cast after a while. I'm fine with a franchise going on for a while if, like, after a certain amount of games, we get some new people and a new story. Which, with Kingdom Hearts, we're finally getting, I guess, a new story, though it seems kind of connected to the last one still. But it's still going to be, it feels like, the same main cast.
So, currently, what they've revealed as projects is Dark Road is the prequels. Missing Link is filling in after Union Cross. Who knows where in the world that is in the timeline, because literally they went throughout history. And then you have KH4 continuing the rest of the story. Which, thank God for less spin-offs, am I right? I'll take free ones on my phone while I just pay for the $60 one on my PlayStation. Which, by the way, I'm very sure I'm going to have to get a PS5 for.
So, to make this more into the broader sense, I guess, that this is going to seem kind of like a dick thing to say, but if you can't tell your entire story in like 4 games, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why the fuck can't you pull that off? That is a lot of time, especially if it's an RPG. That is a lot of fucking time and a lot of story beats. Why couldn't you tell your story and why can't you move on? Can you just not think of anything else?
If I were gonna hammer it back just to Kingdom Hearts for a second, if you express the idea of how Kingdom Hearts connects to the idea of telling a story, Kingdom Hearts is never just telling one story. Period. It's never just told once. Like, so, overarching, everything connects into that arc. But, like, every time you go to a world, it's not only telling you a Disney story, it's telling you a morality story of its own design.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be part of Kingdom Hearts for that. You could have just made something else.
Right, but that is what Kingdom Hearts wants to be. It wants to be a giant morality story about friendship and emotions.
Fair. We could get other characters for that.
Well, that's just to say, that's what going to all the worlds is for. To allow you to have so many different, like, memories and friendships and fun with something you can connect to. Because obviously Kingdom Hearts was created with the idea of popularity in mind. It was supposed to beat Mario. So yeah, any character could have been in these slots, but what they are, it's hard to express that it's not a different story. I
mean, granted, I'm completely fine with that, as a starting point. But once after, like, like the 9th game, probably could have afforded to go for some other characters going through these motions.
So, well, the characters I'm talking about going through the motions are the Disney characters.
No, by going through the motions, I mean visiting these Disney characters. Also, for fuck's sake, can we just drop the Disney characters? That's a different topic altogether, but can we get rid of them? I hate them.
Yeah. I get that, and I get that mentality, but mostly I think it would just be better if, like, there was a FF better balance. If Disney and FF were actually a balance in KH.
It doesn't even have to be FF. It could just be Square Enix as a whole. Because Square Enix, yeah. they are old. They have told so many stories. They could put so many, like, different characters in there.
I'm trying to think of the most obscure, nonsensical Square Enix character off my head, but you'd probably have a better one. But give me one. What's the most obscure, nonsensical Square Enix character that could come out the woodworks that nobody's thought of for years?
So I don't know the characters' names because I haven't really played them as much as I have some of the other ones. But like, you could go for either like the girl from Parasite Eve 3, or like one of the guys from Xenogears.
Xenogears, hear no gears, be no gears.
God damn it.
Okay, so if we're gonna go back to broad strokes, I believe seasonal rot is a thing, because it's literally not only been proven, but possible. Because, obviously Kingdom Hearts has avoided a good amount of this, because of its great storytelling. But characters in a lot of long-standing franchises do have a habit of being flanderized. But that's not because the show, or media, or anything has been going for a long time. It's because things get broken down to their base core because humans like simplicity. It's not too different than this one play I heard of once. So the idea is the apocalypse happens. And people start telling each other old Simpsons episodes they like, like as campfire stories, because, it's like a 2020 style apocalypse. They tell each other about TV shows that they remember, because that like helps. And then they save those stories and pass them on. And as they go on, those are now like the stories and the lore of the world, as far as like their gods and legends, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like as time goes on, those like modify and change, either due to capitalism, corporatism, or just generally like people want to tell the story differently. And eventually you get down to where like they're doing the silent, it's a parody of Cape Fear, which is a movie that you've probably never seen. I'm talking to Jamie in particular, not the people in the audience. But like it's a very famous episode, but like it's turned into a musical, and it's got modifications, and everybody looks different, and it's just like that is an expression of something going on for a while and changing and modifying, either with the times or because of someone's small to bad memory. Because like it's even in the real Simpsons now to have seasonal rot. Like some stuff is just Lisa's the smart one, Bart makes trouble, Homer's an idiot, Marge is the doting wife. Like stuff gets compressed down and then it becomes not as well written. But not because something has been going a long time, but because creators change. If people pass on these stories to the next one, and it's just like, oh, I know what Homer Simpson is, blah, 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 fat dad. And as you like start painting with that broader and broader and broader brush, and now it's not a beautiful canvas you're painting on with like specifics. You're just trying not to make Bob Ross accidents and come up with an episode, and you're done painting in like 5 minutes. It's not beautiful art. It is art, but it's not this grandiose thing that it may or may not have used to be, and you genuinely don't know. Like if you don't know the old art, you don't know a comparative that it's bad or good.
So, someone who didn't play FF7, but then saw Aerith in the FF7 remake?
Kinda, yeah, like straight up, like FF7 is actually a great example, because that is something that is ingrained now as like a mythos in human existence. It is our media, it is our practice, it is the god tier level game that everybody remembers for some reason. But like people go and tell that story to other people, and like you maybe never played the game, or you just saw it, or like people want to put in their own interpretation,
which I think is stupid.
Or a big thing that happens is times change and things become bigger or different, and it's just like FF7 Remake at its core isn't worse art, it's just different. Now I don't like it better the way it's told. I think the next game may be better, and Jamie hates it.
Oh god,
but a big point I want to bring down is the fact of notice how it's different. Notice that it is at its core not trying to tell the same story while not missing the story beats, and it's like somebody telling you a story they have. Oh, sorry. The best phrase, I've heard it before, is imagine. You know those times where somebody tries to recount an amazing dream to you.
And they just can't remember it.
Yeah, because that's how your brain works. It was a loopy, nonsensical wire frying, and now you're trying to tell a story. But, like, you jumped between, like, a portal in the middle of that, and it doesn't make sense when you're telling it to somebody. Or the fact that the milk was flying isn't as cool because it's not your brain. It's just you saying the words to someone that doesn't have context. And, like, a lot of art is like that. It's just seasonal rot and, like, flanderization and storytelling.
To go off of this, to be honest, a lot of I find what you're saying to be, pretty valid, and I hate it. It's like, I legitimately don't like taking someone else's story and retelling it, and I don't like it when people do that. I'm okay with remakes, remasters, but what's FF7 remake was, that was not either of those things. I don't like reboots as much. And that's what 7 Remake felt like.
More of a re-experience in its own kind of twisted way. It needs a new word. Like,
yeah, no,
FF7 Remake needs a new word, and I don't know what it is. Because remake, reboot, and remaster don't seem to really have the right connotations, because it's not a remaster, it's not the same thing. It's not a remake because you didn't just make it from the ground up. It's not, like, it's not a reboot because it tells so much of the same stuff. Which is why I told you about the convoluted timeline stuff, where essentially in that game, minor spoiler warning at this point, I guess, is that, like, a lot of the game is just railroading itself to be the old game, and, like, there's literal gods and demons fighting for you to not change the plot line.
Which is goddamn ridiculous.
Especially when that's the whole point of the finale of the game. Is that the plot line changes. If someone takes a left to go to Yellowstone and you still get to Yellowstone, that's fine. If someone takes a left going to Yellowstone and you end up in you end up in Vegas, it's different. It's very different.
But, so I
was about to say Colorado and I'm like, I don't know where Yellowstone is enough to be wrong.
But at a personal level, one thing I really hate is someone being forced to change the story that they're telling, or the story being changed in post by a different person. I genuinely hate that to the bottom of my soul.
I agree with I think it's artistic integrity. You value that a lot.
I mean, you can alter it, that's fine. Like, what's it called? Like, say if you have an ongoing series, people didn't like something that you were planning to do in the series, if you decide to switch railroads to take it out, because it's really messy, like, it's really bugging people, that's fine. A good enough author can learn how to still tell their original story while making changes kind of like that.
It is a 120-hour experience that, yes, you did pay $60 for, but it is art that exists. It is not, it's edited art in only the same capacity that, like, I don't know, okay, so games are way more editable art than print.
Yeah, soon enough we're gonna get to the point where someone's gonna patch in an entire different cutscene because someone didn't like it. The game will just permanently be changed with a patch.
Hold on, I'm gonna remember the name of the game real quick, and I'm gonna tell you that already happened.
Please don't.
Sweary. Deadly Premonition 2.
No.
Got a patch. Literally a whole new cutscene that was not in the original product. Because he did, in fact, do something minutely offensive to the storyline. He always kept putting in evil trans people. They are people that cannot be believed to be trans by society, and also are murderers. He did this twice, to the exact same effect. But there is literally a cutscene where one of the main characters talks about how much you should trust and believe in other people's own identities, and people are weird, and they're gonna be who they're gonna be, and literally he's a dude with dissociative personality disorder to a degree.
Oh, hi, how are you? I didn't realize I was in the game.
I'm surprised you haven't played Deadly Premonition. You would like it, actually. But here's the thing. So we patched in a new cutscene that kind of, if I remember correctly, was, why should I have to do this? Obviously this is correct, blah, blah, blah. But here's what really the problem was. You could be a murderous psychopath as like a trans person in media if the trans identity isn't connected to you being a murderous psychopath. And also, you don't make every single one of your trans characters murderous psychopaths. And the thing you do that's offensive isn't take a person's identity away the minute they are deemed a criminal or even a suspect. Don't misgender someone just because you want to hurt them. That makes their identity seem like a reward, and that's not what it is. It is who they are, and that's not fair. Because like if you were deemed a criminal or a suspect in any kind of thing, and I started calling you just a different name, I don't know if that would hurt your feelings because you don't have a lot of feelings.
Yeah, no, I genuinely
but other
wouldn't
people
care.
would be. But like, yeah, like straight up, if somebody's like, okay, so let's say Carol. Let's say Carol like is being suspected of murdering her husband, even though he just ran away and is in hiding because of the mob, whatever. And like the guy comes in and goes, "All right, Bob, tell us where the body is." Who's Bob? You know it, Bob. Bob, we know you committed this murder the whole way through, and we know because you're not who you say you are. And it's just like, what? It's like no reasonable person walks in and calls some, like, unless they're genuinely mistaken, you don't just take someone's name as a punishment unless you're an asshole.
A name is meaningless in the first place, and so is a label. I don't understand why it matters.
But okay, but you see that, like, I agree that modern art, in its current sensibilities, can be adjusted to help if you are actually being problematic. I do not agree with censorship at its core, because if you're going back in time and changing things that happened to make your worldview look prettier, that's bad. This genuinely, the world was ugly, people were racist, people were awful. You need to acknowledge that, you need to agree with that, and you don't need to change it. The other things that come with it.
I'm gonna make a random ass word a slur just so people can't say it anymore.
I promise you it's probably already a slur in another language. Because you forget other languages have slurs.
No, I don't. I'm gonna find a way.
Okay.
I'm gonna find a way. Watch me. Whoever sees this video in 40 years, that word that's a slur now, that was me. Oh, yeah, no. Back on topic.
Where are we? What is happening?
Yeah, back on topic to what we were talking about, to what this video is probably going to be titled. Yeah. Does Kingdom Hearts need to die?
No. I think stories can actually be told forever if you are capable of bringing new things to it. New talent is a possibility. You just have to make sure that they understand that this is an art and you have a vision and this exists, much like Nomura has been very present on bringing to the KH as a whole, while also letting new ideas break about. You can't just but you can't just be like Five Nights at Freddy's, where the story was written, you decided it wasn't the story at the last minute, and now somehow a giant mega pizzaplex in 20 years will become a fire cesspool pit of ugly robots.
I'm
shit
pretty
doesn't
sure I'm pretty
work.
sure the newest one isn't a prequel.
Oh, my head. Okay, that's...
Also, Phasgoo. You
FNAF
forgot to mention
the rails.
Phasgoo.
What the fuck is Phasgoo?
Oh god, you know about Phasgoo? It's goo that can take the form of a living being. Not to mention that there are people...
That's just...
there are people that have been replaced with
Luigi.
robots. There are children that are just robots walking around. That don't know they're robots.
Where did that come from?
The books. FNAF also brings up my point pretty well. When you've been telling...
Going too long?
Yeah, when you've been going too long, you want to kind of come up with things that'll keep it interesting or something. Or you get these ideas that should just be their own standalone thing, but you want to connect it back to the franchise in some way. So you put it in there, and then you get something like Phasgoo. or robot children. But in short, my answer is I think Kingdom Hearts should die. I love Kingdom Hearts to death. Actually, yeah, no, to death. Yeah, I'm gonna kill it.
So I think it kind of comes down to, I think stories can last forever, but I do also agree things have their endpoints, such as there are beautiful places to stop telling a story.
I mean, yeah, especially since there's something that your brain does. It's like the completionist complex or something. Like, a story that ends and that you finish, your brain is more likely to remember because it finished it. Your brain likes to finish shit. But a story that keeps going forever and never has a real clear-cut ending, you're gonna get hazy on, because your brain's like, we still haven't finished it. Fuck, what was it about again?
But then you could bring that into the idea that Kingdom Hearts did just finish. It finished its big arc that we never knew it was telling. Now, obviously, it is still numbering and going.
On one hand, yes. On another hand, that's like literally, oh, I finished chapter 200 of Naruto. Let me go start chapter 201 now that's a new story arc. It's still just Naruto. If there was a generational gap in or like a dimensional gap, then I'd have more of a reason to go along that. But since it's like been a year and it's still people we know, just in a different place, it's like a season 2, not I finished watching a whole arc. Or like a whole, like I didn't finish anything. I'm just going to part 2.
Yeah, but like that acknowledges, so plays at their core, I guess is a way to phrase this, is plays are done in acts, obviously. And an act is finished, and the play may still go on. And you do feel that sense of completion, obviously, when a story beat is finished. Now, you don't get that same voila you do when everybody's on the end of the stage and bowing. But there is something to say to your feeling when the curtain drops and it's time for a break, at the end of usually Act 2. You're obviously hungry for more, but there is still that accomplishment that things are happening and story is progressing.
Okay, but what if every act is Act 2? What if every act has that break, but we're still not done? Eventually you're just gonna get tired. And eventually you're just gonna be run into the ground. And then you're either gonna be stuck in the Mario cycle, where every game is almost the same, and you still eat it anyways, or in the Sonic cycle, where we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Okay, well, yeah, but Kingdom Hearts is... Okay, so I think Kingdom Hearts deserves its own category of belief. Because, like, yeah, it's been going like Sonic and Mario, but it's not doing what they're doing. It's not a new... So I guess, yeah, if we do come to the conclusions as to what we have is... Yeah, I do think media can go on forever. I do agree new talent can... I think new talent can come in. But seasonal rot is entirely possible. You do need to shake up the status quo. Huh?
Is it more like inevitable?
Okay, well, I mean, I'd say it's an inevitability.
Because eventually, if you go on long enough, something will change. And it will cause the product to change. Change is a natural occurrence. And just as time flows, something will happen.
Well, something has happened. I mean, Sora's gotten older, redesigns have happened, the whole flow of the franchise has changed. I mean, fuck, we waited 14 years for 3, and now we've already heard word of 4. And have 2 fun... Like, they've gotten their asses together. They know what they're doing more now.
I know, but with how much change, it makes you wonder... Do we still need the same name?
Does it still need to be Kingdom Hearts?
Yes. That's another problem I have a lot of the time, where I think that some things could have just been a different character in a different world. It didn't need the same name and same people.
Everything that exists to be Kingdom Hearts has to stay Kingdom Hearts because the moon, like something physically in the game, and the goal of most of the bad guys, is Kingdom Hearts. Like, it's
but
not
is
just...
it still their goal? In 4,
Yes.
Is that still their goal?
Yes, the Master of Masters, or whoever is standing on that roof, still makes the heart and mentions finding real Kingdom Hearts.
Did he? I didn't hear him say that, really?
Yeah, somewhere at the end of 3, when you're looking at the Shibuya, there's a part where the Master of Masters is doing the heart symbol in the sky, talking about real Kingdom Hearts. Because, like, yeah, the first Kingdom Hearts is just the door to darkness.
I mean, fair. If that's what they're still talking about, fine. I just don't see a reason for it to still be what they're talking about. I really don't.
I could agree with that. I could see we'd move on from that. But the thing is, okay, so imagine Indiana Jones. If Indiana Jones was always looking for the lost Ark, it would kind of be fucking weird to call the next one Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Like, that shit doesn't make sense. Like, if you're still looking for the thing,
well, see,
that's kind of like,
to use that example, what I'm saying more is like Indiana Jones, 3 movies of Indiana Jones. And then you have a generational gap. Now it's Sidney Jones, his granddaughter or some shit.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like, it'll still be connected in some way.
You want everything to be Boruto.
I guess that's the most recent version of that, but yeah, I guess. More like, it doesn't have to be a generational gap. It can still be
time skips.
Doesn't have to be time skips, dimensional skips. It can still be connected very easily, like even like legitimately just playing a different person who sees Sora in passing and they talk about their adventures or something. Like, you could be in it. Instead of Kingdom Hearts, you could be playing I'm not good with names.
So would you not say that KH4 of what we've seen is not KH shaking it up?
I mean, from what I've seen, I guess it's shaking it up.
Because, like, you do have... I mean, it is a dimensional shift. Yes, it's Sora, and it could be an alternate Sora, but, like, straight up, KH1 through 3 kind of didn't have a major world event change outside of Sora getting a year older, which did make the game have different feels of his character, and other people joining the roster and sometimes being the main character. I think KH4 is actually that shakeup you've always been looking for, because it's straight up a world type we've never heard of. It is a whole new environment to learn with our old abilities.
Yeah, but I don't want my old abilities.
He's got the Kingdom Key. Shut the fuck up with your level 1 boner.
Sir.
Metroid exists.
I think, honestly, it would have been more interesting to fucking be someone else. Like, have a different franchise name and kind of like go up, you're discovering all this stuff about the darkness and stuff, and all of a sudden you meet Sora, who's just been transferred to this world with you, or like to your world, and then you travel together with him, you hear a bit about his backstory, and you're like, wow, that's actually really cool. And then you get to know this guy, and then you start traveling together, and then maybe he goes off on his own to do his own thing or something, but it's not about him, it's about you and your experiences with this world. Whoever you is in this situation, where the fuck this new guy is.
That's Union Cross. Sora's not in it, but it's essentially that. You are just an average everyday Joe that got a Keyblade, and everybody is cooler than you. And you talk to people who've had journeys and adventures and who are leaders.
You see, that's still part of Kingdom Hearts.
You want to be Joe Smo. You don't want to be a Keyblade wielder.
I want a different franchise that's just connected to Kingdom Hearts.
Okay. Let's play into that. And like, I keep playing that into ways that work into something that already exists, because I feel that Kingdom Hearts is doing what you are saying, just not exactly 100%. So, such as the Missing Link trailer we just saw. What if that were only called Missing Link Cross or something? So it's a KH thing without being a KH thing. It has characters that you may or may not recognize, a playstyle that's decently similar, but the world you have entered is foreign, you are not with Sora, and anybody that is cool and a person of interest is now side characters talking to you. Because, like, everything I just said is what Missing Link looks like it's going to be, It's just called Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, so no one is confused.
And yeah, that is shaking up enough where I can give it a pass.
Now, obviously, I would also say it should be, if something like that is going to be a thing, I wish it were going to be a console game. But all the same, I understand if you want to keep the Union Cross audience on the phone. But, you were saying?
I said, yeah, that's not bad. I can give it a pass, but at the end of the day,
yeah,
I want something new. Not like entirely new, because let's be honest, humans can't make new things anymore. We've been around too long. But you know, melting pot, mix stuff up, make something. But like, I don't like being stuck on a boat with the same people for a long period of time. I'm eventually just gonna jump ship myself.
Let's touch on that in the Sonic light. So, Sonic has a new game that I think looks pretty good. We haven't seen a lot about it, but it essentially, Breath of the Wild, like, very shaken up, a franchise
I haven't even cared enough to look at the trailer.
Really, you should. It's a good trailer. But the thing I want to bring up is...
I don't really care about Sonic. That's the problem. I've been around with him so long, I don't give a shit.
You're just gonna buy the next thing anyway. I guess I'm trying to think there's things I feel like I'm trying to pinpoint exactly what you want Kingdom Hearts to do, but in the same light I feel like they're doing it to 95%. It's just like, which is not calling you finicky or anything, like you're just not satisfied. It's like,
what I wanted to do is perfectly simple. Die.
Well, good news, Disney was probably trying to kill it at KH3, so mazel tov.
Yeah, KH3 was pretty bad. Also, Disney sucks. But, that's beside the point.
Yeah. I like KH3. I'm saying Disney was trying to stranglehold the creative team out the ass, and they kept running into problems.
Weirdo. Can't believe you like KH3.
Weirdo, you like Melody of Memories? Yeah, my moral comes down to, I don't think media has to die to be good. To end is something's path in life, but I think you can tell a story forever, and you can tell it pretty long, because life is its own story, and life can be told pretty long as well. Obviously, it doesn't have all the same twists and turns as, like, a story, but the story of your life is what is encapsulated often at your funeral, and at the end on your deathbed. But yeah, so essentially, like, I guess at its core, to answer the exact question, no, I do not believe Kingdom Hearts should die, because I don't believe media has to die. I think some media is better when it ends, such as... I do agree with you on the idea that some franchises are better with time skips and practice, because Happily Ever After doesn't fully exist if you write the next sentence. Any more sentences after that in Happily Ever After is done. There is no the end, there is no fin. If something keeps the name and the moniker of the franchise without jumping dimensions, times, or anything, everything in that world already exists as it was. Yugi still runs around, even if Arc V says they don't. Like, that's just how that works. Digimon goes on to do its own thing too, but Pokemon is run forever. But Pokemon clearly always has a victory point to go to the next story. Kingdom Hearts is a little looser on its victory point. You do beat a bad guy, and therefore you get the completion and the activation and the enjoyment of the story, or at least the game, but I appreciate also the kind of puzzle that we've been putting together for the last 20 years to know everything that went on together.
Except the puzzle's not done.
Oh, it is now.
No, because apparently there's pieces that unless there's a second puzzle directly next to it that we got pieces for and we didn't know what they were for, and now the game's now complete this puzzle, jackass.
I would call it a missing piece, but it's much more like a missing link.
I'm gonna hurt you. It didn't end. To me, that means it didn't end, because they didn't give me all the pieces to the puzzle, or they handed me a second puzzle immediately after that I had pieces for, and I didn't realize I had pieces for it.
Union Cross feels like its own puzzle anyway.
That's still connected to the series, so it's still pieces for the regular puzzle.
Right, but to its effect, it's only the Xehanort saga in passing. You know what I'm saying?
So basically, it was one piece for the regular puzzle and 3 pieces for a different puzzle we didn't have yet.
Right, which is what Kingdom Hearts has always been. I mean, after KH1. KH1 was its own thing, and it tried to fit. KH1 clearly felt like the beginning and end of a story, because that's how video games worked at the time.
The thing is, I just wanted you to give me my puzzle and let me finish the damn puzzle. Not, go, but what if, this whole time, those 6 pieces over there that you didn't know what to do with, that was for this puzzle.
To be fair, just because you were given pieces of a puzzle in a box doesn't mean you had to do the puzzle. If you saw somebody was putting more pieces in there over and over and over again, it is up to your discretion to choose whether or not you're solving that puzzle.
Well, here's the thing. That goes back to what I was saying earlier. If I'm with the same people on the same boat long enough, I'm eventually going to jump ship.
You say that, but we're best friends forever.
Talking about stories.
It doesn't make me want to say it less. I guess more like this is a practice in seeing each other's side and stuff. Which is often what we do anyway,
right.
But still.
Actually, hold on. Quick spoiler warning. It'd be like... But I don't know if it's really a spoiler for a game that's like fucking 15 years old. Persona 3. What if it does continue on kind of in Persona 4? Because it's obviously like 3 years later. But what if like Persona 3, everything happened and then main character sacrifices himself, they save the world. Oh shit, I forgot Fez is a thing. Shit, they already did a continuation. Shit, it breaks me.
Yes.
Hold on.
Smooth Move X Lax and Golden already oh, that's 4.
That's 4. But like, so let me actually no, I know how to go.
What about the extended lore of Dancing All Night?
That is actually more lore, you are right. But
God, I hate it here.
Yeah, every spin-off from Persona, which is already a spin-off, is pretty much canon to Persona.
Hate it here. God, I hate it here.
But so Persona 3 ends, you had your sacrifice, then it goes to the sequel, where now you're dealing with... God, I don't know what the fuck that was dealing with, if I'm honest. It was a trip and a half. But basically everyone dealing with the fact that the main character died. That is what that is. But then, let's say you go to Persona 4, and for some reason, now 4 is about the people from 3 living Persona 4's story. Like, they went to this town and now they're trying to solve these murders. And that's just kind of fucking awkward. You're like this outside force that just walks into this high school and now you're trying to solve these murders yourself. And in the background, the Persona 4 characters are still there. They're like trying to solve this themselves too. But like, you're the Persona 3 cast in their story trying to do it yourself.
Yeah, okay, so like, yeah, I utterly do. I get what you're putting down. It's like, your biggest issue comes down to Kingdom Hearts needs to die if we can't be with someone else, or at least experience a different segment of the universe or a different perspective.
I guess, yeah, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, I agree. Kingdom Hearts 4, if that was going to be, like, even if that were just the fucking Riku story, that might have been, like, maybe the path to go. But, like, even at its core, when you go to KH3 Recoded's DLC with its extended characters, when Riku logs into a database, who do you play as?
Sora.
When Kairi has her big fuck-off moment of heroism, who actually is there?
Me.
Sora twice.
Yeah, me and Sora are basically just the same dude.
So essentially, yeah, I guess if we were gonna put like a pretty little bow final conclusion in the fact that this is probably gonna be like an hour at best, I think we've come down to like seeing each other's side. But I think Kingdom Hearts lives on forever. You think it should die if it doesn't do blank. Yeah?
I think it should die in general, but I think it would be refreshed if it could go from other perspectives.
Okay, so yeah. You're still calling for the death of the franchise, but not in like pitchforks and kill the monster kind of way, just in a, hey, can I talk to a different member of the family kind of way at a gathering.
The cousin's been sitting here talking to me for 20 years. Can I go talk to, like, that dude over there? What is it, your uncle? Let me hear his backstory.
You know, Uncle Harry just got into town. Can you mind if I, like... Come on, Samuel. It's been 20 years, man. I need to...
I like your stories and all about the darkness and where the light touches and the big heart in the sky.
I know at one point about 15 years ago, your wife stepped in and told a story about her brothers. That was cool. If we could maybe do that more. But all the same, I just really want to go hear about Uncle Harry's story about a hedgehog that runs through the fields. It sounds kind of cool. You know, I'm about to call somebody Aunt Petunia. Aunt Petunia, fucking, you know, she said that new experience she's been dreading is pretty cool. I don't know. I've been looking into that. Said she fought a bunch of bosses.
Fucking, where are we
Someone's
going?
gonna get that and think I'm so smart. What?
Where the fuck are we going?
Essentially, the point is, Kingdom Hearts should continue trying to shake up its status quo without leaving its lore.
Or Jamie's gonna kill it himself with a shotgun.
Alright, you all came to hear their answers and see where the verses lies. Dbotnik! I say it should live. Requiem's Dawn!
I got a shotgun with 2 bullets in it.
And with that, folks, you have the answer. No one pushed onto each other's side, but everyone agreed and respected each other. Tune in next time when there is another Versers!
Yo, you should totally just say in the comments who you think made a more valid point.
Oh, yeah, who do you side with?
Yeah, who do you agree with? Both our points were, I think, decently valid.
I mean, I know I'm right, but who did you side with?
Sir, hit.
We're getting better at this, but not that much better.
This is basically a podcast.
Pretty much. Alright, you want to say bye to the people?
Do I have to?
Fair enough. I hope you all have a wonderful evening.